If you guys haven't heard, Google has announced that they're going to be getting into the gaming industry, which is a really interesting idea. I mean, if you guys, I'm sure all of you have heard of Stadia by now. I'm not reporting anything new. What I want to do is talk about Stadia and what this means for the future of video gamers. So Stadia, if you don't know what it is, Google Stadia is going to be Google's platform to play video games. Essentially, it's their version of a home console. But the idea is that it's not a home console. In fact, it's just their servers. You will stream games from their servers. Genius idea, I have to say. The idea to stream a video game to any device is just pure genius. And let's talk about that, okay? 1, I don't have to upgrade my home console every 5 to 6 years. Now, think about that for a minute. I have purchased so many home consoles. GameCube, for example. I purchased that, 20 years ago. I don't play any of those games because it's not hooked up. I'd have to dig out my controllers, find a game that's not scratched, plug it into the TV, and play it, But Stadia is just going to stream games from their servers. That means I never have to purchase another console. It's kind of like Steam. I can install Steam on any computer and play any of those games, but, I have to install the games. I have to download them, install them, and put them on my computer. Whereas Stadia, everything's on their servers. Okay, all the games are there. They're all installed, ready to go. Which essentially means all I have to do is just purchase a game, and it's ready to go. I don't have to wait hours for it to download it and install. All I have to do is purchase the game, and I can start playing it immediately. That's such a big deal. That's something that we take for granted now. I mean, I grew up with the Super Nintendo with N64. All you had to do was plug in the cartridge and then play it. There was nothing else to it. Now, if I want to play a game, I have to download it to my console and install it, and it just takes hours. And it kind of sucks because sometimes I want to play the game now. So, picture this. I mean, imagine yourself 10 years from now, and you have just purchased a large library of games on Google Stadia. You can, at any given time, go all the way back to when Stadia was first launched and play the very first game that you purchased on that platform. You don't have to install it, and you just play it. I mean, I have purchased probably hundreds of video games in my lifetime, and I can't play half of them because I don't have my Super Nintendo plugged in. I don't have my 64 or my PlayStation, my GameCube. None of them are plugged in. I'd have to go find them, find their cords and their controllers, a game that's not scratched, and set it all up. But the idea that, hey, in 10 years from now, I could have a large library of 20, 30, 40 games, and I can just play them anytime. I don't have to reinstall them, update them. That's all done. Google maintains everything. That's so amazing to think about. And I think that's the biggest pro that Stadia has. Now here's some other interesting things. They're saying that their servers are going to be super powerful, which makes sense. I mean, servers tend to have the most computing power. They're advertising 10.7 GPU teraflops. That's a ton of power. The Xbox One X has 6.0 GPU teraflops, and the PlayStation Pro has 4.2. So combined, the PlayStation and the Xbox combined still don't match the power that Stadia is going to be offering us. Now, think about that on terms of game developers now. Now, you don't have to worry about the quality of your graphics, the size of your map, any details that you want to leave out. You can do whatever you want because there's so much processing power. Sky's the limit now. That's what this means. Sky's the limit for game developers. And because of that power, they're saying that you can stream 4K 60 frames per second. That's really cool. Now, granted, this is streaming too. You don't have to install some kind of client onto your computer. You can stream this on any device, mobile, laptop, low-powered laptop, mind you, tablet, PC, any device that can install Google Chrome, you'll be able to stream your games. That is a huge advantage. I mean, picture yourself playing a game on the TV, you're casting it to the TV, you're playing it, and then all of a sudden you have to go do your business. And you're like, crap, well, you know what? I'll just switch my game to my phone, do my business, and then go back. That's really cool. That's essentially the Switch. That's the Switch experience at home. I mean, that was the first thing we all thought when we saw the Switch, was like, finally, I can play my games on the toilet. Stadia will be offering that. Now, they won't have great mobility functionality. I mean, I don't imagine that you'll be able to stream these games on a 3G network. Who knows? They haven't mentioned it. They haven't mentioned what kind of internet connection that you'll have to have in order to stream these games. So I imagine, I mean, there's some rumors out there, right? Let's talk about this real quick. The rumor is, in order to get the 4K resolution, you're going to have 50 megabytes download speed. And if you have 25, at least 25, you'll be getting 1080p, which is still pretty good. I mean, in my mind, that's still really good. So those are the rumors. Google hasn't confirmed anything yet, but that's kind of what the information's coming out as, 50 megabytes per second. And here's the disappointing thing. In order to play Stadia, you have to have an internet connection. So, I mean, at least with a PlayStation or an Xbox, you can play these games without an internet connection. You can't multiplayer, but, you know, single player games, you don't need any online subscription or anything. You can just play it. So, I mean, that's a big con. I mean, and you think about a lot of Americans, they don't have, there are some places that don't have that kind of internet connection. Those people, that's a large demographic of people that won't be able to get that quality of gaming. Now, hopefully, you know, in the next couple of years, we're going to be seeing higher download and upload speeds provided by our internet service providers, but who knows, right? But yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting to see that kind of experience, like having to have an internet connection. I think that they will have a huge opportunity if you could stream your game on a 3G network. If I could play this on the go on my phone, man, that would be a big deal. But it alone, being able to play on a low-powered PC is a big deal. I mean, everyone will have essentially a gaming computer. Another big thing that they're announcing is that they will support cross-platform play. This is huge in the gaming community. Everyone has been asking and pressuring the gaming industry to make cross-platform a reality. And we see Nintendo, Microsoft, and PC all getting together and making that happen. We have a lot of really cool game studios that have been at the forefront, making sure that their games are cross-play. They have cross-play accessibility. Sony's a little, you know, they're nudging in that direction. I mean, they finally let the Fortnite be cross-play, but not every game. So this is a big deal, cross-platform play. So I could essentially play Fortnite with anybody on Google Stadia. Another really big deal. So we talked about the power of the servers, right? The servers are going to have a significant amount of power compared to any home console. That's going to give game developers a huge leg up on developing games. They will no longer be restricted from their imagination. Anything at that power can be a reality. Cool thing about that is even the multiplayer will have a lot of high quality. They talked about couch co-op games. So if you guys don't know this, whenever you play a couch co-op and there's like the screen split, game developers have to reduce the resolution and the amount of content that they can put in those games because it's running 2 instances of the game. And so essentially it's just low powered and they can't put as much in there as they would like. Google Stadia is going to offer, well, the way that they explained is that each player will have their own instance on Stadia. So they'll be able to play and get the exact same quality as, you know, if it was just a one-player game. again, developers are no longer constrained to their imagination. They can get as crazy as they want. Granted, if they're just going to program for Stadia. But now imagine that. What does that mean? That means you could have a 1,000-player battle royale mode. That would be freaking crazy. A 1,000-player battle royale mode. The quality would not dip. The power is there to support it. It was so cool to think about, you know, that kind of gameplay. Another really cool thing. So the Ancient One came up and started talking about content creators. So this is kind of interesting. Of course, you know, they have YouTube and you can stream games to YouTube. So of course they had to find a way to connect YouTube with Stadia, and they have. There's some really cool things and, you know, kind of dumb things about it. But the thing that I got out of it that I thought that was the biggest deal was that streamers now who stream on YouTube will be able to engage with their audience in a way that they haven't been able to before. And they demonstrated this with NBA 2K19. And essentially what it is you could stream it and your audience can say, hey, I want to jump in this game with you. And there's like a queue. It will say like you're 4th or 5th in line. And then all these players can play with their streamers and, you know, just play together. And that's really cool. I mean, it's something that Twitch isn't doing. I've seen streamers say, hey, you know, if you follow me or like me or donate X amount of money, we'll play a round of Fortnite together. And that's always been interesting to watch, you know, a subscriber play with the streamer. But to imagine like a bunch of the audience members play with the streamer, that really engages and brings the audience into an interactive gameplay. There's no other medium that will do that. So it's an interesting idea. I don't know if it's a big enough idea to get Twitch streamers to transfer to YouTube. You know, quite frankly, I think it's something that people won't use a lot. And another really cool thing that they're going to do with YouTube is that you'll be able, if you're a streamer, say you're playing like a horror game or something, you'll be able to record that specific moment and publish it so that your viewers can play that exact moment that you did. You know, if it's a scary game and you want them to walk down this scary hall or experience the same fear that you did, you could publish that moment because Stadia is going to record everything and store it. Kind of sketch. But, you know, and it also comes into another feature that they have. They're putting a Google Assistant button on the controller. If you get stuck, if you suck at video games and you can't figure something out, there's Google Assistant. So all you third graders out there, you'll have Google Assistant to walk you through it and help you. You know, the Big Brother will be there to walk you through these games. You click the button, you ask for help, and since it records everything and analyzes every player's experience with the game, the AI learns, and with that information, it shows you what you need to do. Again, it's a cool feature, but it's also creepy because Google is copying everything and their AI actually analyzes all the gameplay. This is something that they talked about in their keynote. So cool technology, sketch technology. In terms of third-party content, they said that there's over 1,000 game developers who are working on games to be published on Stadia. So there should be a wealth of games and content available. Probably not right up front, but eventually, you know, we're getting a lot of games. And they also announced Stadia Games and Entertainment, which is Google's first-party games. So we will be getting first, you know, developed games. Well, we're going to be getting games developed directly from Google, which will be kind of interesting because they're really good developers and they're good with UI UX. You know, gameplay. Well, let's see what they do, right? I mean, I've played their little server or internet offline dinosaur game. That's a blast. So let's see what they do with that. All in all, really cool ideas that they have. You know, there's a lot of things that we have to consider. The internet connection, you know, that's a big deal. We talked about the rumors about that, what kind of internet connection you're going to have. They have an algorithm to kind of give you that internet, a stable internet connection. Besides that, you know, cost, they didn't talk about cost. The rumor out there is that it will be free of charge. The only thing you'll have to pay for is the game, which would be an amazing reality. I mean, think about that for a minute. All you have to do is pay for the game. Gaming is such an expensive hobby. You have to fork over $500 for a console, $60 for a second controller, $60 for another game. Like, it adds up fast. So you can't go out there and just play because you have to pay for all of this stuff. And you really have to break the bank to get the best experience. So advertising, you know, if this rumor is true, that's a big deal, because all I have to do is pay for a game, and that just $60. But yeah, that's Stadia. You know, those are the pros. Really cool things, being able to stream on low-powered PCs, on phones, on tablets. But I mean, it's Google. So let's talk about that for a second. Google is not the most trustworthy company. I mean, they blatantly sell our privacy and our information to third-party companies so that they can sell ads specifically to us. All we are a target audience. You know, someone wants to sell pizza and they're like, well, this dude loves pizza. He's always Googling Domino's. All right, Domino's, serve him an ad. You know, and here we are playing games. They can learn another thing about us. What kind of games do we like? Well, this guy likes action RPGs. This guy likes puzzles or platform games. You know, it's just more information that Google can have on us, and it's just more opportunity to get more ads served to us. So that's something to consider. You know, is it worth having a free console where someone sells your information? I mean, it's something that we all agree to the terms of service. It's in there. And even though it's wrong and it's a breach of security, we're allowing them to do this. Sorry, I got my tinfoil hat on right now. So, I mean, it's something to weigh out. I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a go, see what it's like. I'm curious to see what, how good the quality is going to be, what the lag's going to be like, what the interface is going to be like. I'm curious to see. And if anything, I think it's just going to be really cool to see what the other companies do. You know, how is Xbox and Sony going to respond to this? Are they going to even respond about this? Are they worried about it? Is this something that they've been working on already? Xbox, they already have Game Pass, which is essentially the Netflix for video games. You pay a subscription service and you can play games. And you just stream them. So maybe they'll do a more cloud-based gaming thing. I mean, this is the thing I never got, is Xbox is just Windows. So why don't they just put a client on, like, pre-installed on PCs to play Xbox games? Granted, they all don't have the power to do that, but that's all it is it's just a Windows machine that only plays games. So I don't know. Google has a leg up on this because they have hundreds, if not thousands, of servers all around the world. You know, if your internet connection dips, then they can ping a server that's closer to you and then switch the game so it's a better connection. Will Xbox or Sony be able to have that kind of power? I don't know. It'll be interesting to kind of see what they do. All in all, this is the last thing I'm going to say. If Sony and Xbox go this direction, I can guarantee that they are going to charge a premium for that service. I don't know if it's going to be through a client on your phone or on a computer or all devices, but you can guarantee that there's going to be a premium that you have to pay for. If you have a PlayStation or an Xbox, you pay for a subscription to play with friends online. This is the dumbest thing in the whole world, because essentially you're just paying for Discord. They don't have their own servers where they host games or anything. It's the game studio's responsibility to go out there and find servers to host their games on. I know this because I worked for a hosting company. We got several big AAA title games come to us and we hosted their games. PlayStation, Xbox, they don't do that. So essentially you're just paying for Discord and a couple of cheap games every month. So you get a free cheap game, and once in a blue moon you get an old AAA title game. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see. Nintendo's different. I mean, they do have a premium that you have to pay for. It's very cheap, $20 a year, but they actually have the servers. You know, this is for their games. If you want to play Mario Kart, Mario Party, Smash Brothers online, it's through their servers. So you're actually paying them for that, and they're publishing their old NES games up there. So you're actually getting something from Nintendo, except that their online sucks. Anyways, that's my rant. I'm taking the tinfoil hat off and give this up to you guys. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Stadia is going to be the direction, the future of gaming? Are people going to be streaming games moving forward? Do you think Sony and Xbox are moving this direction? I think we can all agree that Nintendo's just going to keep doing their own thing. They're always on an island making some weird console. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below.